Welcome to the back room of Upslope Brewing. I got to go back here into the actual chamber where all the work is really done. What you're seeing behind me is where all of the wort comes in. So the wort is actually where they boil the grain, and that basically makes a flavored sugar substance. Now, this is all hot stuff behind me. So this is where you would actually add the grain and then and boil it out. And then right here is where you would basically put it into a whirlpool. What that's going to do is get all the particulate matter out. And if you go back here, these big guys, now these hold 4 of what I just showed you. This is where you add the yeast and you start the fermentation process. Now, depending on whether you're a lager or an ale yeast, depends on whether it's the top or bottom fermenting. Either way, they really control the temperature here because as yeast are actually active, they create some heat, and that can do more harm than good when you're looking at beer. Now, something to be mentioned, as you come in through the tubes behind me now, this is all generic. This is all the same stuff. Right behind me here is where you might add coriander, you might add orange peel or other flavor components that you want to steep or do something hot with. Now, you might do something like a dry hopping, which you would do after all of this process if you're looking to not get some of that hoppy component. So, after you get to one of these guys, they will be pouring it out through here. Now, you can reuse the yeast. Yeast like to multiply over and over again. Here at Uphill, they actually use their yeast about 6 times. Now, you could probably use it about 12, but because there are natural mutations throughout the yeast process, they decide to only use it 6 instead of 12. Now, I'm going to keep walking back here because of my nice exclusive access. You can see here some of the fermentation process. The one over here to this angle, they're in the earlier stages of the fermentation, which means that the yeast are quite active. They're putting a lot of CO2 out. Now, in larger formats and larger companies, you can actually capture that CO2 in order to carbonate your beer. Unfortunately, they're not able to do that here. That's mostly just because the equipment necessary is extremely expensive. Let's take a look behind me now. What you're seeing is what amounts to about an enormous soda stream. They're actually inserting CO2 here to carbonate the beer, give it that nice head that you see. Like I said, they aren't able to capture that CO2 during the fermentation process, which is why they have to add it post facto. All right, let's keep going over this way. So the beer that I have in my hand is actually, it's got wonderful lime notes. They have 23 taps here. In case you're wondering what a whole bunch of empty beer cans look like, they do all of their canning here. Now, originally, with the canning, it took 3 guys a single minute to do 5 cans, and they have since upgraded their lines quite a bit. What you're seeing behind me is some equipment that they actually pioneered. They actually bought some things from Coca-Cola, they bought some things from Wild Goose Canning. The machine behind me is actually able to do up to 600 cans a minute. That's something that they originally had from Coca-Cola. However, because they didn't want to have that much oxidation in the beer, they run it at a slower pace. And so you have a wonderful craft brewery out here in Boulder, Colorado. Like I said, 23 taps, everything from just regular IPAs to really unique flavors, things that adding cranberry and chocolate, lime, guava. Guava would be one of the things we would add much earlier in the process, something we saw right after when you're creating the mash. Definitely come up here to Upslope, try some beers. They have some really unique flavors, some really unique glasses, and absolutely some delicious craft brews here in Denver. See you next time.